I mean, so you should know, how do Challenge Cup semi-finals differ from any other game, given the fact there's a massive carrot on offer?
I think it's really important, and this sounds probably a little bit boring, that you've just got to do, the basics of the game to an extraordinarily high standard and level for a long period of time. I think within that, I'm not one about devising brand new game plans and coming up with fancy trick plays. I think it's about doing all the fundamentals to an extraordinarily high level and intensity over a long period of time. If you do that, James, what you guarantee is at some point during that game, you're going to get some opportunities. When you get them opportunities, you've got to execute them. And I think that's the same to both sides. On the other side of it, you've got to stop them too. So I think it's as simple as that. I think trying to come up with fancy trick plays and confusing the boys with different game plans, I think it's about going out there, doing what we do, doing it to a phenomenal level for as long as we can. And at the same time, we certainly recognise the threats that the opposition bring this week. So we need to do a good job on, right across the board, but certainly they've got 4 or 5 really prominent players for them too that have a big impact on the outcome of their games.
Given the extraordinary circumstances this year, does it make it a more special final to try and get to and to try to win?
I think it's hard to distinguish that. One reason, James, is you never know when you're going to be in a semi-final next. I know the playoffs at the end of the year are different. You can get some 5 teams, 6 teams, 4 teams this year, has been 8 teams. But in terms of a genuine semi-final and a Challenge Cup semi-final, I think it was Steve McNamara before the Salford game. In a 10-year career in 2 horse races, how many times does that come around for you? So I've been fortunate enough a coach to experience a number of them. But you pointed out that Luke Gale's not been in one yet after such a long and illustrious career. He's not yet played in one. So we understand that you can't actually guarantee when you're going to get the opportunity to play in one next too. It's important that emotion, if you like, doesn't overspill into a loss of focus. I think it's very much about being concentrated, keeping your focus, and I say getting that right balance between the intensity that a game like this is going to bring, while at the same time maintaining the focus and making sure that you are doing your job properly.
2 final points from me. First of all, Wigan, how do you gauge them right now?
Yeah, I think they're a good team, mate. I think they're a really good team with some of the best players in the comp in the side. Without doing a total dissection of the team, Sean O'Loughlin brings another dimension to them, particularly when they're playing out of their own half. When he plays, I think you saw when they played Hull, the more sort of structured ball movement plays come about through Sean. And when he plays, the different points of attack that they bring through Jackson, Thomas Lulai, and a player that's probably been, as an individual, probably the most exciting individual in the comp in Bevan French. He's one of those guys that, as a supporter, you would pay to go in the stadium and watch some of the stuff he does. On that, I think Liam Farrell is, a tremendous player for him as his performances and the statistics will show. I think they've got a couple of real unsung heroes in there too, James. I think Sam Powell. I'm throwing Willie Isa to a really underrated players in the scheme and the mechanics of what we can do. So as I say, mate, we've prepared for them. We're very aware of the threats, and we're very aware that we're going to have to get our best performance out on the day to get this one. They're a strong and consistent team.
So finally, from me, a word on your side. You've obviously settled on your 17 now. Can you give us any sort of insight into some of the selection poses that you've been musing over the last week or so?
Yeah, obviously we wanted to get Jack Walker through a game on Wednesday night. He came through. Well enough that we know at half time we'd seen enough to sort of stick him in contention for this game. Probably the makeup of our bench. It's fair to say our team might not change around too much. The makeup of our bench, we wanted to see a little bit more out of Cuff Bowles. Had a bit of a punctured run into this game with the birth of his baby and a little bit of an injury. And again, we thought Cuff Bowles did enough the other night to put himself back in the frame. And then we got a couple of guys coming back. Cam Smith from a broken jaw, Brad Dwyer from a COVID. just the makeup of the 17, really. Alex Sutcliffe has played well back from his suspension. So we've got 19 guys to choose from our 17, and it's how we make up the bench. You know, the weather forecast is a pretty grim one for Saturday. So we've taken that into account in the way we've trained this week, and perhaps we might take that into account in the team we select, and also the energy we feel that the team is in terms of you know, who's got the runs on the board or the miles on the clock in terms of game time, James, too. So we've got a couple of little quandaries in there. I think probably 14 of 15 of our team, you know, a week ago, we would have been confident to say these guys are being the 17, but we wanted to get through a little bit on Wednesday to see which guys we potentially could back up.
Thanks, Rich. Good luck tomorrow.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.